are as sinners. We're not naturally good.
Right. Oh, okay.
So is that I thought that would be the controversy.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, frankly, I am as far from an expert on the tenets of Southern Baptists as anybody is. And so no doubt, I'm sure you're right, actually. That sounds exactly right.
Yeah, okay.
And so I mean, actually, at least one person I know knows way better than I. And so, but I take it that what the Southern Baptist student who asked the question wanted to hear was, even given how we're created, God could have said the exact opposite, right? Torture is fine, right? And Coppinger said, God could not have said that, in effect. And that was the departure from Southern Baptist teaching that he perpetrated, I suppose is the word. But also, another problem with natural law theory, as I'm sure many people here know, is that the way it gets developed is predicated on highly controversial, or I would say dubious or false accounts of human nature and purpose. And we heard some of that from Coppinger about compulsory heterosexuality and so on. And so you could endorse a radical version of natural law theory that had nothing to do with compulsory heterosexuality. And that might be great. It would violate the divine command theory, though. But it would be compatible with theism on one version. Okay. So where are we?
4B?
Yeah. So looking at 4B, I think the remainder of all of 4 basically are variations. I think because of what kind of came up at that debate. They're variations. Let's jump ahead to 4E because I think this is something that I was kind of stunned by, frankly. The appeal to capital letter words. So that's right, actually. I didn't. This really took me by surprise, but it shouldn't have in a sense because people do want to hear. People do want to hear the truth that their life has meaning with a capital M. Right? You hear about people talking about whether life has meaning, and the idea of life having meaning. Lives aren't words or signs, right? So they don't have meaning in any conventional sense. So whenever you hear somebody talking about wanting their life to have meaning or purpose, they're talking about something grander. And yet the only words we have to appeal to this grander thing are the same words we have to appeal to the mundane things, right? And so when people say they want their lives to have meaning, it's kind of like saying, I want that octagonal red sign with the words S-T-O-P on it to have meaning. It's using the same word, but it's not really, they don't really seem to mean the same thing, right? And the problem is trying to get at what exactly they mean when they say they want their life to have meaning. Okay? And I think you get the same thing, and so to be frank, I think it's kind of fair enough to let people have that word, right? They want their lives to have meaning, and I'm not going to quibble with them about whether it is meaningful for them to want their life to have meaning, right? I'll just say, I understand. You want to feel like you're dedicated to something or something like that. And so you get the same sort of thing with truth, right? People want there to be truth with a capital T. And they want there to be good with a capital G. And to be frank, I do not know what they mean by this. And so,
It's another example of begging the question.
Well, I mean, it could be, but... Right. Yeah, no, I mean, that's where I would go with it, right? I mean, ultimately, if you're saying that there's something that's good with a capital G that's by nature different from good with a little g, or truth with a capital T, like, it's true that 2 + 2 is 4. It's true that there are lots of people here. It's true that we're in Louisville. These are totally mundane truths with little t's and
Those don't let me feel superior to other people.
we can feel superior to Lexington. I mean, come on.
I just find people that are looking for the capital T truth want the truth so they can lord it over everybody else.
Well, okay. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, okay. Okay, I guess I would rather impute the most charitable as possible, right? And sort of say that what they want is they want this not all to be meaningless. They want this all, to have some purpose. And when they meant good, they meant something better than, giving somebody a quarter when they need a quarter to get bus fare,
It sounds similar to like a Platonic ideal, like an extrinsic thing that's, you've got the little t, but the t is, the generic abstract extrinsic thing that I think sometimes it's what it sounds like.
Right.
Sometimes. People have different reasons for it. They're alluding to divine meaning, but sometimes it sounds like it's something extrinsic or something that's solid.
Right.
Absolute, you mean like
That's right.
he's absolute.
That's right. Absolute truth, as opposed to just plain, right? But of course, it's absolutely true that we are all here in Louisville, right? It's absolutely true. And then, of course, if you meant something else by absolute with a capital A, that just pushes it back. And I think you're right, that people want something more. And that they don't have the words to articulate it. Well, that might be because there's nothing there to be wanted. But, yeah, so I don't know where to go with that other than the only sense of true that I have that I'm familiar with at all is it's true that there are a bunch of people here and we're in Louisville, Kentucky, and two close to it. So.
There's also a circular nature to this as well. And I'm making a supposition here because I don't know this, I don't know all Christians personally. But every Christian that I've ever met, or any other theist of any kind, they always see their God as being sort of this glorified version of themselves who always wants what they want. Jesus is a liberal, he's a conservative, he's a capitalist, he's a communist, he's gay, he's straight, he's, black, white, whatever it is you want him to be. You can make him into whatever you want. And so when they say, I have the truth with a capital T, or the good with a capital G, it's the things that they want in the first place, that it's not like they've actually found something that says, I've been doing it all wrong all along, I need to be, voting Republican or whatever. It's that they've decided that what they're doing right now is the T with the capital T truth.
So they could have a personal relationship with it.
Yeah. And not only, that speaks really, really highly of how Jesus has become, and God, and this theory of God has become such a nationalistic issue. It's because every culture adapts God to their own image, even if they, adapt it from somewhere else, like how we've adapted this theistic view of God, but created our own view of the American God, the God who helped us go to Iraq, per se, and the God that, blessed us into
manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
When Bush heard God command him, it was not, I just was told today I should resign my office.
And ironically, at the same time, God also commanded Al-Qaeda to go against him. So God is obviously a law. God likes to change his mind a lot. I've just noticed that.
You might be able to boil this down to pretty much no one wants to be murdered, robbed, beaten. Yeah. How do you think that's how our laws came about? Well, you mentioned in the debate the naturalistic Darwinian method, that morality approach from that. Could you elaborate on that a little bit, maybe?
Or
you just... We actually had someone speak on altruism at a science cafe once from the biology department, but your basic premises was that because it was good for society not to have people murdering each other, there became laws against murder.
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to sort of stake very much on that. I thought I only appealed to evolution because one thing I noticed, and I don't know how common this is, was that there was a kind of a bit of a caricature of Darwinian theory, a caricature of sort of modern science in general. And this goes to, where are we? Irreducible complexity, right? 4D. The idea that that modern science, as we know it, just can't. There's just stuff that it can't explain, and you get irreducible complexity in in evolution. You get irreducible complexity in the sort of the appearance of life.